Hey geometry students, this is the first of 2 vocabulary videos for your circles unit. While you're doing this, you're going to be working on a graphic organizer for the vocabulary and filling out definitions, drawing some diagrams, and I'll click over to that in a moment and explain exactly what I want you to do there. I would also recommend at least sketching this and drawing some of these along with me. Even if it's just on a scrap piece of paper, I really do think that drawing them is a beneficial thing for you as you go. So let me click over to the vocabulary and show you what that's going to look like. So you'll see it here. We've got some terms, some definitions, and diagrams. Now, it's going to be hard to make the diagrams on the Google Doc. So here's what I'm going to have you do. You're going to fill out the definitions while you're watching these videos. You can either pause the video and write down what I said, or you're going to go to Google and you're going to search for those definitions and find them. You're going to type those in. You're going to turn this document in on Google Classroom, and then I'm going to print these out for you so that we can draw the diagrams in when you get to class in your next class day. So it's going to be a 2-part system, but you're going to need to fill these out and then turn this document in. Okay, so I may flip back to this while we're working, but most of my work is going to be drawing in this diagram. So, big thing with circles. Okay? The set of all points that are equidistant from a given point. That's the center. Now, you've seen this before. There are going to be some terms that are new. I'm not necessarily going in order of the terms on the vocabulary sheet, but I'll try to stick with the first video here with the segments. So the most common segment that you see in a circle is something that we call the radius. And the radius extends from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle. Okay? So this is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. That's the radius. The radius is really the defining characteristic of a circle. Okay? All circles are very simple, and they're all going to look similar to each other. It's really just the size. And since the radius is what defines the size of the circle, that's what makes a circle what it is. So the radius, again, the distance from the center to any point on the circle. I can take this line, and if I swing it around here, it's going to be the same length. Now, it's not perfect because of the computer graphics, but I can keep going. Now, oops, made it a little too long there. Back that up. Good. So that's a radius. If I take that radius and I stretch it all the way across the circle, we get a special name for that. Now, it's important that I go through the center here. This is called a diameter. You've seen that before. But the diameter is the distance from one point on the circle to another going through the center, and that's important. Has to go through the center. Okay. The diameter, you'll see, is twice the radius. There's a radius from the center out to this side, and the radius from the center out to that side. So the diameter is twice as long as the radius. That fact will come into play later on. Now, there's another name for this segment, and it's called a chord. The diameter is the longest chord of a circle, and a chord is simply a segment that connects any 2 points. The diameter was a special chord that goes through the center, but not all chords go through the center. I can have a chord that looks like this, okay, and it connects any 2 points on the circle. Anywhere I move this around the circle, these are all chords that you would see. So if I just connect 2 points on the circle, this line is now called a chord. If I move that line so that it extends outside of the circle, okay, now this is called a secant. You'll see that vocabulary term. A secant is a line or a line segment that crosses a circle in 2 places. It crosses a circle here, and it crosses a circle here. A chord touched it, but didn't go outside of the circle. A secant can go outside of a circle. It looks like it's going to slice the circle starting outside and following through. Now, if I keep moving this out and out and out till I get to right about here, you'll notice that I'm touching the circle but not going through the circle. Plug my computer in. So a line or line segment that touches the circle but doesn't go through the circle is called a tangent. It's going to touch the circle in exactly one spot. And so you see this evolution of the segments that can be drawn. Okay? We had, again, a radius that went from the center to the edge. We had a diameter that went from side to side but had to go through the center. We had a chord that just connected 2 points anywhere. A secant that crossed over the circle in 2 places. And then a tangent. This is different than the tangent from trigonometry. It's going to touch the circle in one place but not pass through it. So I'm going to give you a moment, take some time and jot those things down, search those definitions, things like that. All right, so that's looking at the segments. You can flip back over to your notes here. So a radius, the distance from a center to any point on the circle. Diameter is a segment that connects any 2 points but goes through the center. A chord connects any 2 points on a circle, and that's it. A secant is a segment or a line that crosses through a circle and intersects it at 2 places. And a tangent is a line or a line segment that touches a circle at one spot but doesn't cross through it. Make sure you get those typed up and filled in. Go online and search for those if you need to see them. And again, we'll fill in these diagrams next time we're in class. Okay? Thanks for watching this one. Make sure you check out now the second video that's going to talk about angles.